Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Spare Parts. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Stephen.
I'm Taylor.
And this week, we are going to be starting off talking about the Daytona 500, which took place this weekend. And that's going to be kind of most of our conversation, I feel, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about coming out of this race. And I guess we'll kind of end this also going over the F1 liveries, giving our reaction, and I guess our opinions of which ones we like the most. So that's kind of what we have in store for today. So, without further ado, Daytona, who wants to start?
It was a shit show.
Time out. Taylor, you watched? You watched a NASCAR race?
I watched the highlights and I paid attention while it was live. I didn't watch it, but I did pay attention.
You know what?
She could be lying. It's Daytona. It's a super speedway. It's a 50-50 shot if you say it was a shit show.
You know, yeah, exactly. But you know she also texted us while watching it about it.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Like, my great poke, the big bear of Sean taking Reddick, and he crashed it. Like, what? The first one to crash out? The big first crash of the race?
Listen. My wallet didn't do so
Poor
well this
guy is
weekend.
doomed.
Like I said
We're just
last
not
week,
gonna acknowledge it.
Sean's jinx of Reddick has continued. It will not end. Reddick is down for a very bad season because Sean took him in our little fantasy draft.
You know what? We'll see how long this goes. I'm jumping on the Reddick bandwagon.
I don't know,
We'll
man.
ride this out the whole way.
Okay, I think we need to extend our sincere apologies to Tyler Reddick. Try again next year, and hopefully Sean won't pick you.
I'll pick you every year. We're riding this train together.
Oh, he's never gonna win.
Speaking of riding trains, it's kind of what the race was.
Yeah. Shocker.
Yes.
It was not the greatest, to be honest.
No, but that's the modern NASCAR on a super speedway. It's a pack race, right?
No, but it's not a pack. Like, okay. I watched because I was kind of bored. The 2004 Daytona 500, right? Peak, but like...
Oh my
peak,
gosh.
It's on YouTube, the whole thing. Go watch it. It's honestly so much better. But like peak early 2000s NASCAR when it was so popular. And
when it was the best version of the product, basically?
Yes, when the on-track action was the greatest. And, like, that's a pack. This is two lines of cars just pushing.
Two trains?
So basically,
Yes.
yeah, two trains.
But it's not a pack because there's no
not
weaving.
much
There's no,
happening.
like, maneuvering in the pack and trying to find a run and finding space. It is just you're pushing the guy in front of you. And instead of all being in one line, it's two lines, and you cannot move, or you get pushed out and you fall to the back.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of the problem too, though, is like even though there is movement within the trains and it does become somewhat more of a pack, what I noticed, at least from this Daytona 500, is as soon as they tried to do that and as soon as they tried to make a maneuver, it just ended terribly for like pretty much them and everybody near them.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And like
it was like not even worth it.
it's clean for the most part. It was really good green flag running, clean race. And one has to get ruined by stages and break it up then. But you had like good strategy going the whole time. You had like different guys pitting at different times. You had, I think it was like Bubba was like basically off strategy because he had to pit early, but somehow still cycled his way through the front. So like there were so much cool things happening on track. And I could go down the tangent of, well, no one saw this stuff on track because there were so many damn commercials. But I feel like in like, you know, the day after the race, that's kind of been beaten over everyone's head. But I just want to kind of say, the one commercial thing I found was hilarious was there was a part in the race where they're like, okay, we're going to go commercial free thanks to Wendy's. Goes commercial free.
Still technically a commercial.
No, it goes into, it was maybe Wendy's, no, maybe it was Toyota. It was one of those two sponsors. Anyway, it's like, okay, commercial free. Now here's a commercial from them. I'm like, so then it wasn't
Oh, I
commercial
see.
free.
So it was like sponsored by, plays the commercial, and then it's commercial free.
No, it's nothing but racing. There's no cut in it. It's just the pure on track. And it's okay, thank you
Yeah.
for that. From, let's say it's Toyota or Wendy's or whatever. It's like, thank you, Toyota. Now here's a Toyota ad. It's like, really? So then it wasn't commercial free. Because you're still
It
showing
was-
me a commercial.
Yeah, it was basically broadcasting an extended length of time, but you had to watch it after. You had to watch the ad.
Yeah.
Don't you love money?
I love YouTube skippable ads.
Yeah, but like, okay, me too. But don't you get those ones where you can't skip, like, and they're 30 seconds long?
No,
There's no skip
never.
button.
Never.
Oh my gosh, they're so annoying, and
I
you're so
also-
lucky. I
also
hate
use
that.
a lot of ad block.
Oh,
You rarely ever get unskippable ones on mobile where I don't have ad block, but on my computer, yeah, I don't get those.
okay, I get them all the time, and I guess it's just my bad luck, but they're so annoying because they're always the longest ones, and you just cannot skip. It's ad one of two. You must watch both.
That sounds like a you problem. So yeah, anyway, I'm kind of ranting and raving because honestly, I did not like this Daytona 500. If you guys want to kind of give positives or anything you thought, I'll shut up for a bit.
I mean, like, I don't really know what I could say. This is like the first NASCAR race that I've actually paid attention to beyond just like, oh, it happened. Cool. I don't know. It seemed interesting from the highlights that I watched. It didn't seem that bad, but again, like, my perspective is just so much different than yours because, like, you've consistently watched the Daytona 500 and, like, you consistently watch NASCAR races. And I'm just over here being like, oh, wow, there was, like, 5 crashes and this happened and everything was kind of a crapshoot and it was a dumpster fire. Which is part of the allure, honestly, for me. But
Yeah,
I was honestly mostly watching for our draft and being really sad when I saw them drop like flies.
Yeah, I think most of my guys also dropped like flies. So
You had Chris Bell come third, at least, Taylor?
Yeah, that was a positive. That was the positive. But yeah, that honestly, you guys were so right. I do have a vested interest now because I want to win.
exactly.
go.
See, fantasy sports helping getting people to NASCAR forever. Steven,
Okay,
what were your
Steven,
thoughts?
what's your review?
I like typical super speedway race from last year. I like it's fun that we have a different winner in Ricky Stenhouse. So, I mean, that's always fun to get someone different, especially, or it continues the trend of last year, which is nice. Yeah, the commercials were a piss off. Trying to think of what else that hasn't already been mentioned. It was good to see that we somewhat know what we're talking about because we sort of mentioned how a dark horse coming into the season was RFK, and RFK Racing had a really good race. Busher and Keselowski were both running up there at the front for a while.
Yeah, I think
So-
they got screwed over by the overtime.
Yeah, but they I think so. Yes, it sucks for one race, but as a first showing for this year, it's off to a good start, and I don't think you can be that unlucky all season, unless they somehow get transferred Ryan Blaney's luck somehow, or Austin Dillon's luck somehow, who his bad luck continued into this season too with that late wreck. Because I think he had a strong day too, but yeah, I'd say it's pretty standard for the super speedways, and I wouldn't be surprised if more of them are still wreck infested races. Like I think that's going to be the trend with these cars, especially since they've got those jagged front ends. So, Like that's what ended up taking Dylan out and forcing overtime in the first place. So
And again, but that's what
It's-
NASCAR wants. They want the wrecks.
Yeah.
They want the
exactly.
like Taylor said, the highlights are good because the highlights are good.
Yeah.
But it's not a good product. I will stand by that.
I think that's part of
totally
the that's part of the problem too with I think them maintaining their fan base is like if you just watch the highlights, like if I just watch the highlights, I feel like I could get into NASCAR. But knowing that when I sit down for a whole race, I'm going to be bored out of my mind because the whole product just isn't there for me to have a vested interest in it.
And also, like, one of the best things of the week was actually the duels. Those races were also a lot better, I thought, than the 500.
So why do you think that?
I don't know. Maybe the intrigue there of like the guys getting in and stuff, but like maybe less cars.
Yeah, it was definitely some intrigue with the amount of names that had to race their way in.
Because we watched those together.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I completely skipped out on was who was it? Travis Pastrana coming 11th. Like that's a great result for him.
Just by surviving.
Which I mean, again, that's typical super speedway / Daytona racing. So, yeah, the maybe it was I can just sort of sit in for what, half an hour, 45 minutes and watch the duel versus this is going to be a bit of a slog with the full 500.
Yeah.
Maybe that plays into it
as
maybe well.
It was the quickness of the duel where it kind of felt like almost watching an iRacing race, right?
Yeah. Because again, like if you could put money down on the race, the 500 coming down to overtime after a late wreck, I feel like that would be a heavy favorite, and you wouldn't make a lot of money on betting on that because that's what these super speedway races come down to most of the time. Sadly, it's not like you're going to get a green flag shootout to the end, which is, I get, for a more casual fan, entertaining, I guess, because you can tune in, you don't have to commit fully. But when you're a more committed fan and you're like fully into NASCAR and watching the full race, or you're even at the track, it kind of sucks at the same time, right? You know you'll get a fun ending, but you also know that the first 80% of the race, 90% of the race probably won't matter as much because you could be the lucky guy who gets through on the wreck.
The first 100% of the race didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This became the Daytona 530.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem I have with the overtime rules, and we've discussed it before. Like, you're gonna make it a 500-mile race, make it 500 miles. It's not might be a 505, might be 510, might be 530,
so
might be.
It was 530. They did 12 extra laps because of all the overtime and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of frustrating because, like, okay, if you had what would have been the better result for NASCAR? 500-mile race distance with Kyle Busch getting that win finally, or a wreckfest with Green White Checkers and Ricky Stenhouse winning it? What's a better story for NASCAR?
No offense to Ricky Stenhouse, it's the Kyle Busch. Like like Stenhouse, for the career he's had, it's a good story as well. It is not the best story that could be.
You know, it was bad. Even on the broadcast, they were like, "Oh, it's Stenhouse. Oh, yay, okay." Yeah. Like, they didn't seem that ecstatic that Stenhouse actually won.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a problem in your format. If you kind of feel like, oh, he won the luck of the draw.
Yep.
Yeah. And that kind of really sucks because it would have been like a totally different result had they ended it at 500. And I think, I don't know, like part of it, like I don't understand, right? Because like the Daytona 500 and like just all NASCAR events are usually like they're a specified distance. So what is the point in going to overtime? Like, a race is a race. Things happen. Cautions are thrown. but that's just like the way that it goes.
But like, I understand also the amount of the fan base who gets pissed off when a race doesn't end under green. And
Yes.
honestly, I 100% get that. Had, the 2021 F1 World Championship ended under caution, under the safety car, a lot of people wouldn't have liked that as much versus the ending we got, which people also didn't like. But like, there's part of it where you can only deal with what you're given, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if people are given the choice between end under yellow or behind a pace car or safety car versus guaranteed finish, at least you get to take the white flag and you get to at least finish under green. You might not finish the lap under green as we have seen, but at least you get the chance to. I think more people like that option, really.
Well, yeah, and like I totally understand that from like a fan perspective, but I also like that's part of racing though. Like it's not always going to end under green. That's just the way things go. Like how many F1 races have we watched where they've ended under yellow, and yeah, like it kind of sucks, but it's the luck of the draw. Like racing incidents happen, and I don't
Maybe
necessarily
two.
think that there should be yeah, but like and like right, but like things happen, but like the laps are the laps. They don't just add laps because incidents happen and people don't want to watch a race end behind a pace car. And
Well, and like,
I feel like it should be the same thing in NASCAR. Like ended at 500 or ended at the specified mileage that you're saying that they're going.
I would
Oh,
make
well.
one change if you had it where, okay, this is overtime. All cars come down pit road. Everyone gets fresh tires, fresh fuel, the same amount, and you go. You leave the same way you came in. Make it like overtime in other sports where you don't just keep playing till someone wins. You take a break, take a second, and then I'll come back out, right? That's football,
Yep.
basketball, hockey. All of it, all overtime works like that. Because
Yep.
I think in this is like, because that went an extra 12 laps, an extra 30 miles, teams put fuel in the car for 500, not 530.
Mhm.
So there's an element of making it fair if you are going to have overtime to, I guess, make it so that everyone has a chance. Because it sucks if, okay, you're there for the first green white checker, do you have enough fuel? I can do another. Survive that wreck. Ah, great. I'm 6. Now I got to go to the back because I got to refuel. That's not very fair,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I'll still lean on the fence that I think it should just be done away with completely, but I do see your points though, and I do think that that would like at least give them a fair shot.
Steven, you want to jump in?
No, I don't think there's a whole lot more to add, to be honest.
You know,
Like-
I'm sitting here
What?
like really surprised I've contributed as much to this NASCAR conversation.
I know, right? And Steven's over there
as
just
I
like-
have.
Just over there. I don't even know what he's looking up. I'm too afraid to ask.
You don't want to know.
Okay.
As simple as that. You don't want to know.
Yeah, he's...
Feet pictures.
But no, like again, the reason I say there's not so much to add is because we've had these conversations before, right? Like
True.
we're
these
rehashing.
conversations come up all the time.
Yeah,
So, like I
but
think
there
we've
is
made
the
our
added
thoughts.
context.
But like, just look at this race specifically, and does it help does this race make people want overtime to stay, or does this race want people to get rid of the overtime? The conversation going around is kind of people being like, I'm kind of tired of this overtime thing.
Yeah, like it's you know what it is, to put it into ball and stick sports. It's exactly like the shootout in hockey. People enjoyed it because you never saw penalty shots. Now is the like bane of every hardcore hockey fan's existence. Everyone
It's a
hates it.
That's
Yeah,
a fantastic analogy for that. Yes,
But-
agreed.
it is
But-
a fantastic comparison.
But because the people who run their respective sports say, nah, trust us, we know what's best for the sport, and this is it. this is the way we're going, even though their fans are very vocal about saying, it was cool when we started because we didn't get to see it a lot. We got more green flag finishes. That's awesome. Now all we get is green flag finishes, which makes it less awesome because there's guys who deserve to win a race that get wrecked on lap 199 of 200, and then they're finishing 20th.
Yeah.
So
But also, who is NASCAR listening to make the decision of overtime? Because the
Who
way
knows?
I've seen several drivers basically say don't care for overtime. Dale Earnhardt Jr. said he's not a fan of overtime or any of those green white checkered rules or anything like that. Fans are 50-50 split, really. Some love it, some hate it. You know, it is what we have, and you just gotta deal with it. I feel like owners hate it because it's guaranteed to tear up more cars.
Yep.
But maybe owners love it because if you're the guy leading, you're not gonna win. That's almost been like guaranteed. The guy leading at the start of overtime never wins. So in that case, you have you're guaranteed to have a shot at the win if you're not the car leading, and more owners are not leading at that time than leading. So in that case, yeah, sure, we'll go for it. We like it. Do the TV guys like this? Like the TV partners like Fox and NBC, are those guys fans of overtime because it extends your run coverage and
I doubt it.
commercials?
No, but I mean, probably it's a free commercial break.
Yeah, I
watch
don't know
one
who's making the calls.
Yes.
You watch one replay of the wreck, get 3 or 4 different angles on different guys. Commercial break. Come back. Oh, we're still like, I don't know how many laps was it that last wreck before overtime. How many laps of cleanup was that? That was like
Well, there
8
was
laps of cleanup?
12 laps total. You had your green white checkered to get there.
Yeah.
Then you had 10 after. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was also not. It wasn't like lap 199. It was like 194
Yeah,
that
so,
wreck was on.
10 laps, I would
So-
say.
Yeah, 10, 12 laps.
Yeah.
Sponsors probably love it. It's free airtime for them to get stuff out.
But back in the day, what'd they do there?
Race would just be over.
Nope, red flag.
Oh yeah, or
Red flag, we're going to clean up, and we'll get them going again.
Yeah.
Which I find the red flagging it was more fair back then than overtime.
Yeah.
Well, red
Yeah.
flagging makes a lot more sense, which is like part of the thing of like what was kind of confusing me about this whole overtime thing to begin with. I'm like, why would they just not red flag it and then restart? Would that
Yeah.
not be the fair thing to do? You're cutting the mileage where it stops, and then it's not like you're going into this whole like 5:30, 12 extra laps business where it kind of screws everybody over.
I think overtime should only be extended for red flags. That's what my compromise would be. NASCAR can have your overtime. It can finish into yellow, but in circumstances, if there's a big red flag wreck with like, say in the last 4 lap window, something that's massive, we'll red flag it and you get one shot at overtime.
Yeah.
That would be my ultimate compromise.
Yeah. If you have to keep overtime, sure.
Yeah. Because you can't unred flag it, get guys to get around, and then by the time they're back up to speed, race is over. Fine, we understand that. So we're going to red flag it. You're going to get your finish after the red flag. But if there's a regular crash with like 2 to go, we're going to end it yellow.
Yep.
That's how I would do it.
Yep. At worst, do the iRacing thing. We're doing this once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go past more than one overtime, which I get doesn't apply to this, but let's be honest, most of the races go to multiple overtimes.
Yeah. But that's the thing also, like, in terms of people want to see it finish into green. How often does it?
Yeah.
Still yellow coming to the line anyway.
That's a good point.
Yep.
What is it if it's 1 lap sooner?
Yep.
But
exactly.
Alas. Also, like, even the post-race coverage sucked though this year.
It was short too.
pre-race went on forever, it seemed.
Well,
Pre-race
it's
was
'cause
actually
it's the 70
entertaining and nice.
Yeah,
and-
because it's they did a good job with that.
They did.
75th year, they did a good job doing the only thing I didn't get was having the
the weird
I
virtual
get, but I
race.
don't. No, that was
Oh,
actually good.
That was
actually
weird.
good.
That was weird.
No, that was good because it had different generations of car. It was
Yeah,
like,
with
okay, that's kind of
NASCAR
cool.
2004 graphics.
Okay, yes, the graphics could have been better. Good concept. Very good concept. Somewhat poor execution.
I wasn't a big fan of it, but that's fair.
The thing that didn't make sense really was having current drivers give the command. And me and you were talking about this. It's like, so my thought was, they probably calculated, the cars will idle for a couple seconds while these guys run over to get in their cars, and they probably have a little less fuel because everyone else is idling. And Sean made the fun point of, this is NASCAR. They didn't think of that. Let's be honest. So they got a couple extra laps of fuel.
Yeah, well, maybe even who knows how much, but yeah, they don't have to start their car right away because they're giving the command to start the car. Then they got to run to their car to start their car.
Yeah. But then if you're a guy like Denny Hamlin, oh, my strap won't go. Oh, my strap won't go on. No, it's not safe. Can't get the helmet on. No, now something else has gone wrong. I can't. I've saved 2 laps of fuel. But in the end, it doesn't matter because everyone's on the same strategy because we still have fucking stages.
Yeah.
So
I hate stages so much. There's so much, like, honestly, NASCAR, just hire us.
Seriously,
We can fix it.
We are smart people. We have ideas.
At Spare Parts Pod.
that's debatable.
Spare Parts Racing.
Sorry, at Spare Parts
Yeah.
Racing.
Spare Parts Pod was the old one that got taken down because copyright. Whoops. I still call bullshit on that.
Although technically our TikTok is still Spare Parts Pod, so
Okay,
reach
fair
out
enough.
to us on multiple platforms at NASCAR. We'll
Fair
fix it for you.
enough. To finish the discussion on the Daytona 500, out of 10, what would you rate it?
I mean, for it being the first Daytona 500 I actually paid attention to in the last 26 years of my life, I will give it a solid 5 out of 10.
I'd go 4. That's just me.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5.
I walked away from that race dissatisfied, and that's not how you want to start your season.
No, that is like the worst way to start your season.
Like, I don't know if it's just me, but to start this NASCAR season, it seems to be like just zero hype. You know, the Clash was kind of okay. The duels were kind of fun, right? That's the Daytona 500, okay. So, like, this season, I feel, is already starting on the back foot.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see how ratings go forward.
Yep.
Alas.
It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, before we move on, do you want to know who's leading after a single race of our fantasy?
Yes.
Me.
Because, buddy, you're last.
Damn it.
Taylor has run away with this so far.
Oh, God.
She's at 120, carried by the fact that she had only one single-digit scorer and 3 guys above 30 or 30 or better.
Sweet.
Suarez, Chastain,
Great.
and Bell. Sean, you're last with 80, which puts me in the middle. Sean, it did not help that Tyler Reddick weighed you down with 1 point.
Yeah. Literally
Ooh,
came.
yeah.
He didn't come
Yeah.
last, actually. He came second last. But yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And despite having the highest point scorer of the week in Joey Logano, having Austin Dillon score 4 points and Chase Elliott score 9 points did quite a number on my total. So
Oof.
there's that.
Well, you tried. We'll
So good job, Taylor.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's a long season.
Yeah,
There's a
we will
long
not
way.
be checking that every single week.
No,
No. But
no.
you know
I
what? We'll check
I
the
wanted
cafe.
to. I was gonna say I wanted to give someone a second to enjoy the fact that she's actually doing well at something NASCAR related.
Maybe she'll pay more attention to it.
Yay!
Exactly.
I feel like I'm being bribed. This is extortion with possible winnings.
Yeah, it's called dopamine. This is why we're all also minor
Exactly.
gambling addicts. We're trying to get that
Yes.
hit.
Exactly.
Facts.
So
Facts. Okay, that just sounded like we're freaking addicts.
Exactly.
Trying to get that hit.
what he said.
That's what sport fans are. Fan
Actually,
addicts.
yeah, you're actually
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So F1.
So F1.
F1.
Finally, our livery conversation that we promised.
Yeah,
Like
they're
weeks
all
ago when it
announced.
started coming out.
Well, they weren't all announced till last week.
I know, but it's like we kept teasing it, and now, like, obviously for good reason because they hadn't all come out, but now they're all out, so we finally get to have that discussion.
Yes.
Yay!
So we talked about doing a top 3 and bottom 3. What do you want to start with?
Ooh.
I feel like because I feel like we might agree more on the top 3, and I think there's going to be a lot more discussion with the bottom 3 because we'll have differing opinions. Maybe, possibly, most likely, knowing the 3 of us.
Okay. So we want to start with top
Okay.
3 then.
Start.
Yeah, we'll start top 3. So do we want to start with like the third and go up to our number 1, or do you want to go
Yes.
1?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
No,
go.
no.
yeah.
Let's start with everyone's number 1.
Oh,
Go for it.
okay.
Fine. Okay, fine. We can start with 3.
Yeah, we'll work our way up to the top because I have a funny feeling we might all have the same top.
Okay.
I think. Okay, so number 3. Who wants to go first? Steven, do you want to go first?
I'm very mixed up between my 2 and 3.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say Aston Martin is my 3rd.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks. They didn't change anything, and that is fine. It looks very nice. I like this
Nice.
car.
My number 3 is the Haas.
Oh, you like
Really?
The Haas. Okay.
I like
You
the
like the
Haas.
Haas?
I like the Haas.
Never mind. I take
At-
it back.
at
Maybe we are
first-
going to have a lot of discussion
At
here.
first, I didn't like the Haas. But after seeing what other people did and how the black has come into a lot of cars this year, I like the Haas.
I
hate
had
the
them
Haas.
4th.
I don't like it.
Okay, okay.
They're in the mid pack,
but-
not even like they're not the worst, but they're definitely not in the top.
I just wonder when Roger Penske is gonna announce that he has bought into the Haas team, because this looks exactly like the new Garden car.
But like, it also looks like the old Sauber too. Sauber used to have like a
Yes.
black and red, but like
Yes,
it's I like it. Okay.
but
I
again,
like it.
this is a Joseph Newgarden car.
Hmm. I could totally actually see that comparison.
Yeah, that's fair.
So but
Okay, so
I like it.
my third. Okay, so this one had me waffling, but honestly, Williams. I love the Williams car.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna disagree on this. Okay.
Oh,
Don't worry, don't worry.
I love the blue. I love the blue. Honestly, I really liked how it looked, and I think whatever pictures they took made it look like better than it like will look on track. But I loved it last year. It's very similar to last year's car, but I also really liked that one. I think I rated it highly even last year too. But yeah, for me that's probably the third.
And
I
what's
will say
everyone's-
with the Williams, my mind has changed after they released the photos today of it with a matte finish. It looks nicer with the matte finish, that blue.
Haven't seen the matte finish photos yet, but I feel like it could look nice either way.
The full matte looks much nicer. Also A+ for whoever said put a battery at the top of the car.
I fucking hate that.
Why? That's advertising. The battery on top of the car.
I know, it's great. I love that.
Anyway.
Okay, so let's move on to 2.
Steven, you start.
Steven?
I had Ferrari at 2.
Okay.
Wow, I'm actually
went
so
back-
surprised.
They went back to the good red, not that,
That is
bullshit
true.
burgundy.
That is true. The red
That
is
is
good.
true.
Here, look at this.
Okay, so here's the thing.
This is the Michael Schumacher car. That is the good car.
It is a good
Stick with
car.
it.
It is the classic red, and
Not
I do
everyone.
love it.
If you release this car every year, I will still love it. That is the good car.
It is the best. It is it is one of the most classic looks. I will say, Ferrari was 4th for me.
Wow.
So I'm very surprised at that choice, but
That's saying
fair.
something.
And you know how much I love my Ferrari. But for me, it just, I don't know. I actually loved the burgundy look. I thought it was really cool to do something different last year. So,
No, you're Ferrari. Don't do anything different.
all right. Okay, you purist.
Yes.
My number 2 is the Mercedes.
Ooh.
We are not going to have the same top.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. As much as you
Wow.
thought.
I'm like,
I like the all black.
Okay.
Very clever also to make it all black so you can just basically have no paint on it. Genius.
yes.
And yeah, it looks very clean, very. I like the subtle Mercedes stars on the back as it kind of goes into the carbon. There is so much good on there. It looks great, and it looks mean. And I love the dark side Mercedes. I really do. So yeah, Mercedes is my number 2.
Fair. Okay. Well, my number 2 is Aston Martin. Again, no notes. I love the British racing green like so much. So, yeah, you know what? Just I love this car.
That's fair. Steven, number 1.
Okay.
Number 1, I had the Mercedes.
Okay.
Okay, I also had the
like that.
Mercedes as number 1. That's why I thought we were all going to agree because I
Yeah.
was like, this car literally, I had
Yeah.
no notes whatsoever. It was fabulous.
I will say there is one I like more than the other because they have that slight difference in the coloration of the numbers.
Okay, which one do you like more, the green or the yellow?
I like the George Russell line.
I like the
better.
yellow.
You
like the
love
highlighter
lime
yellow?
green.
I like the yellow.
I hate the
Nah,
highlighter yellow.
I think the lime green looks better on the black in contrast.
Okay, so
I agree with Steven.
the yellow to me reminds me of the old was it the Cart Haviland car of like the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So we can pull up an
Okay.
image here.
I can picture it in my mind kind of. If they
Yeah.
went with a slightly sharper yellow, I think it would be
Like
equivalent.
something like that
yes.
with the yellow.
Yeah. But
the
that
yellow
that
reminds
that,
me of
that,
but
that,
yeah.
Sure.
yellow's just that touch a little bit sharper,
Yes.
and I like that a little bit more. Where again, if
Mhm.
it's that Haviland yellow, no notes
yes.
compared to the lime green one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean, what's your number 1?
I like the McLaren.
The McLaren is good. I like the McLaren.
Okay.
I
it's-
really do.
eh.
Okay, so here's the thing. The Ferrari's good. Yeah, Aston's good. Those were kind of my 4-5s, to be honest. I didn't like the Aston because of the inlets on the side pods being black. That to me breaks it up, looks weird. The way this McLaren looks and the colors on it, I love the angles. I love the geometry of the livery. And it's not, the black is smart on there, but it's not also overbearing. Like it's one of those smartly kind of placed, and also those chrome wheels I still love.
Yes. The biggest problem I have with the McLaren is that I just can't tell if they are actually sponsored by Google or not.
But even the way
Google.
even the way the ads are on the McLaren look great compared to other cars.
Yes, that I
The
can
way
agree
it
with.
incorporates
There's-
ads looks fantastic.
There are so many chrome ads though.
There's 2.
No, have you looked over the entire car? It's got the wheel covers.
Yeah.
It's got the front wing. It's got
Oh, right,
the
front wing.
yep, what's the word? The main one at the back.
The rear wing.
It's got the No, not the rear wing.
Engine cover.
Yes, engine cover. I don't know why. I need more coffee. Okay, I've only had 4 today.
You smell
It's
burnt
got
toast? Just out of curiosity.
slightly.
Okay.
It's got it on the like it's literally everywhere.
That's fair. Okay, so those are my top 3. We all got our top 3s.
Yeah.
What's everyone's bottom 3?
I started this one so someone else can start.
Okay.
Are we going from 8 to 10 or?
Yeah, go 8 to 10.
Yeah.
All right, 8.
Yeah. 8 to 10. Okay, hold on. I have to look again. 'Cause I know what my bottom one
Okay,
is.
I'll
for
start
sure.
this.
Go ahead.
Can I start with an honorable mention?
Sure.
Red Bull.
Sure.
Red Bull's not in
Oh.
my bottom 3, but I feel like we're not going to mention a lot.
So I was gonna say the Red Bull.
I'm tired
The
of it.
Red Bull, yeah, it's sort of like the Ferrari, where it's like, yes, that's a good livery year in year out. If you bring it back every year, great. At the same time, I feel like it's gotten kind of boring.
Yeah, okay. So for me, this one was 8 for
Okay.
me. Like Red Bull made it in on my worst ones because it's boring, done so many times. Like, do something else with it. There are so many things you can do with a livery.
But like, okay,
It's copy paste.
it's even the thing. Like, I sent you guys the photo today of the F2 cars running the Red Bull livery,
Oh,
and there
Yeah.
is 6 of them running that same. It's tired. It's boring. I at least wish in F2 they could break up and do different types of liveries on different cars. Like, we have seen such awesome liveries from Red Bull in the past that this just feels literally the most unimaginative they could be.
Well, that's
yeah.
and that's the part of the problem, right? Like, it's just there's no nuance whatsoever.
No, it's old. It's boring. I'm done with it. So, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's a clean livery. It's iconic. It's kind of a classic. I'm just tired of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But as
That's
for my
why they were-
actual 8,
I was gonna say they were my number 8 too, just so we don't have to rehash
okay.
everything.
My actual number 8 is Alfa Romeo.
You don't like the Alpha?
Oh,
Even after
okay.
I liked the red and
Ew.
white Alfa Romeo way more. With the
Agreed.
black, it's just kind of like a Haas. That's why I like the Haas. Is because it has that extra white in it. The Alpha
Oh,
is
okay, I
just
see
a
what
black
you-
car thrown with some red.
Okay, yeah. So because yours is alpha, like 9 for me was alpha. I do not like the car at all. At all. I agree. Like, I much prefer the red and the white. Like, I think that it's just like a cleaner look than what they went with, which was like I feel like it's just like the 2 colors smushed together, and there's not like a lot of melding between the 2, which I feel like if you do have a 2-toned car, I feel like a lot of them do a lot better in incorporating the different colors to kind of make it look sense. But to me, like, it just looks too blockish,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't kind of visually appeal to me at all.
Yeah, agreed. So if we're now moving on to, I guess, number 9s. My 9 is AlphaTauri.
Fair. They were like
Honestly,
my 7, like honorable mention.
Last year was great. The red bothers me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I commend them for not going all black, but still, the red addition there just looks weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Steven, what was your
it
9?
very much throws you off, but I get it's because they have Orlin as a sponsor now, so
Yeah.
and that's why they were also my number 9.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's,
So
On the
kinda
same
similar.
page.
and as a Toronto Maple Leafs fans, the red, white, and blue Habs, yeah, no thanks.
Nice.
Bleh.
Okay, so
Right.
worst one, everyone's least
Worst of the
favorite
worst.
livery,
Haas.
Williams.
So
I'll fight you,
wrong.
Taylor. I will fight
I
you.
had
will
a-
fight you, Sean. Like,
I had
no.
Alpine.
You had Alpine? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if this was
I'm
the
not
pink
a-
livery, I would agree with you because I hate that livery.
I'm the opposite. I'd rather have the pink all season.
Really?
No, I hate the pink. I actually
Really?
like
Oh,
the
the
Alpine.
pink is disgusting. I hate the pink
That's
so much.
partially
And I
why
know
I
Sarah
love
was
it.
here.
'Cause it's
Okay, I know
so
if Sarah was here,
it's
she would agree
different.
with Steven.
No,
No,
the
I
blue
don't
with
like
the
it at
pink
all.
looks great.
Yeah.
I actually really do
Part
like
of-
the Alpine one.
Yeah. It's not bad. I'm actually super surprised, Steven.
Yeah. On that note, the pink one is my 11th now. Just for that. Okay, no, pink one's my 10th. 11th is still the Williams. It's terrible.
I disagree with you
The
wholeheartedly.
multiple
I
sh- the
don't
multiple
think at all.
shades, the multiple shades of blue looks like someone just threw random fucking pieces of blue and like on MS Paint.
How?
The
No.
stupid
How
battery
in the world?
thing looks terrible.
Oh my gosh. How can you sit there and say that the Haas car is more interesting than the Williams car? At least Williams is playing with colors within what they've chosen. Haas, again, just looks boxy. And just kind of plain. Like, way too plain.
But plain works. You don't have to be
No.
fancy.
Sometimes plain does work if you do it right. I don't think Haas did it right.
The Williams...
Ferrari, beautiful. Aston Martin, beautiful. Williams, beautiful.
Have you not seen some of the mock-ups people have done with like the Duracell with like black and gold on it and stuff, or like anything else better? Like, I don't understand this multiple blue layering thing on the engine cover. It's not great, and I don't like it, and get rid of it.
I disagree. I love it.
The battery thing I think is a genius sponsoring thing. It looks stupid.
I think it looks
I think the
fine.
Google thing looks more stupid than the battery, to be honest.
Also, it has the word Stevens on the side of it, so therefore you know it's terrible.
Fuck
Oh. It's not spelled the same, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't. And the stupid little wedge at the front of like.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing a lot of Sean, you're wrong.
I
just
just
wrong.
know I won't be seeing it at the back of the pack anyway, so it's fine.
You know what?
you.
What?
You're just so wrong. Like, you're just so wrong. Hold on.
Do you want to hear the top 5 liveries based on fan voting from F1?
Ooh, sure. Let's hear that.
This is from yesterday, so
What's number
so
1?
I'll
Mercedes?
start at 5.
Coward.
Fine. Yeah, number 1 is Mercedes.
That's fair.
Yeah. Number 2 was Ferrari.
Okay.
Number 3 was Alfa Romeo.
Okay. Everyone's wrong.
Number 4 is Red Bull.
Really?
And number 5 is Aston Martin. How much of that is just I'm a fan of Ferrari, I have to vote for
100%.
Ferrari.
Oh,
I'm
that's
a fan of
100%
Mercedes,
fan
I have to
based.
vote for yeah. And that's the thing. And then you're gonna have the the more impartial fans. I won't say completely impartial, who are like, what, Mercedes all black, love it.
Hold on. I'm currently asking somebody for their opinion, which will be the make or break as to whether or not Sean is just absolutely wrong.
It's a terrible livery.
It's not. Hold on. The question is the Haas livery or the Williams livery?
I mean, both of them.
Hold on, they're consulting.
Time out. Both of the Haas and Williams livery are two teams working with not a lot of sponsorship and not a lot of money. What both teams came up with is something totally different. The Haas one looks like it's a clean livery out of like Motorsport Manager, that game or something like that. Simple, couple lines here and there, nice contrast in colors, black and white, good to go. Very appealing to the eye. The Williams one is this terrible blue mixture, which I still hate, and a battery.
Oh my gosh.
So
False.
we're
There
gonna
is
put
so much
multiple
going on in the
angular
Williams.
shapes of blue on the engine cover.
And it's
black the bottom. Put a little
Dang it.
wedge. Listen, the hostage is cleaner. It's cleaner.
Okay, well, the person I asked disagrees with me, so therefore, this is a moot point.
And I win again. Thank you very much.
It's not fair. She's engaged to you, so you know what?
She doesn't even know that it's my answer versus yours.
I can't believe this.
Anyway, I win.
Whatever.
So, yes,
You're still wrong, but okay.
Also, I guess in F1
Either way.
news, testing starts this week, so we're actually going to see how all these great-looking cars, minus Williams, actually perform on the track.
So Sean, is Aston Martin sandbagging again this year?
My hope for them is, I'm saying this now, my prediction for them is 6th.
Ooh.
But a comfortable 6th. Not
Like-
fighting Alfa Romeo for the last spot again at the end of the year. But comfortably 6th. I expect them to compete against McLaren and McLaren and Alpine. But to kind of have that A, B, C kind of tier of F1. That's my predictions. Again, testing is this week. Next week we have our prediction show where we're actually going to give our season prediction. And then we can actually go through all of it. But yeah, I'm not going to...
That literally just reminded me. Fantasy League has to start.
Yes.
I gotta
Yes.
create that.
We will
Okay.
get that
yes.
Fantasy League started as well.
Yeah, that literally when you're like, oh, we'll make our predictions, and I was thinking about the NASCAR draft, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to start the spare parts F1
League?
league again.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yep.
okay,
100%.
yes,
Okay.
so that is coming. Other
I think we should
news?
do that next week. We should start that next week and get our picks and go
Oh,
over our
100% we'll
teams.
start it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Let's
got to get the
start.
league started and share the code.
So we'll get that out. Anything else to talk about this week?
I think
Mm.
other mentions is Drive to Survive starts this Friday. Comes out.
Listen.
Or did
We
you
went.
just say that?
We went from a lull of racing stuff to now it's coming at us fast. Every week something
know.
is happening. It is fantastic.
I know. Yeah, and NASCAR is again on Sunday. At another speedway. Are they all speedways? Some of them are road courses, right? How does this
Well-
work? What is NASCAR?
You know what? We'll keep you guessing on that. We'll explain it in the
Yep.
future.
I know that it's the Auto Club Speedway, but do I know what that means? No.
It's okay. Just don't hurt yourself. And on that note, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.